The weather is going to be fairly calm across the U.S. over the next few days, but a major pattern change is going to change everything in the future. Let's get right into today's video. After the severe weather event happened during the week, we had a massive cold front that did switch a lot of things, bringing us into a lot of cooler weather across much of the central and eastern U.S. that's going to be occurring over the next days or so. So more below average temperatures for April, means temperatures more in the 50s, 40s, and 60s, about around that range here through Monday through Tuesday. And then things are about to change significantly. I will say the western U.S. are going to stay warm this whole entire time, like they always are. This winter's been crazy in the western U.S., but the western U.S. will stay warm from this, but the eastern U.S. is going to be a little cold from today through Tuesday into Wednesday. And this massive pattern change is going to come through and bring our temperatures to way more above average temperatures in the central U.S. and a lot more of a rainy pattern. And that is actually why the central U.S. is in a 6 to 10 day outlook of way more above average temperatures across basically the entire U.S. from April 11th to the 15th. And also way above average precipitation. And you know what that means? Severe weather threats across the U.S. and much above average temperatures. If we look at the 8 to 14 day from the 13th to the 19th, it continues that of much above average precipitation across much of the U.S. and basically the entire U.S. except for the small area in northern North Dakota and Minnesota, seeing much above average temperatures throughout basically the whole central, southern, the whole entire U.S. basically, and much above average rainfall in a lot of these areas except for this small area in South Carolina, Florida, and Georgia areas. And this is because we're going to have many storm systems rolling through. The temperatures are going to be a lot warmer. We're going to be into a lot of more active patterns. So enjoy the weather. I know it's going to be a little colder in the central U.S., but especially if you're in the western U.S., enjoy it. Because no matter what, we're going to be pretty dry across much of the U.S. over the next few days or so, except for this small area in parts of North Carolina and South Carolina and parts of Florida that get those afternoon thunderstorms that they get quite a lot. So yeah, we're actually going to get quite a bit of rainfall across portions of central and southern Florida are going to be in for a lot of rainfall. But if you look at most of the U.S., it's pretty dry, especially in these areas and much of the western U.S. So enjoy it through Thursday until we get to the weekend and it gets very, very active with rain. If we look at the GFS ensemble, already showing this, it shows that we get a big storm system rolling through Friday through Sunday into Tuesday. Basically, the next 2 weeks or so, just get a huge area of a lot of rainfall in the central U.S., especially the bullseye right in this area. We're going to be having a lot of above average precipitation. If we look at the Euro ensemble, it only hits at this rainfall starts on Friday through the weekend and then continues all the way through the 20th of April with a lot of rainfall. So this period from basically the 10th all the way through the 20th, we're going to be in for a lot of rainfall, especially in anywhere in these areas. Quite a bit of rainfall. It's going to be very, very active with precipitation that we are going to be seeing for a lot of the U.S. And one area I did want to mention, it's going to be super dry. Might get drought conditions enhancing across portions of Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama regions. And guys, one thing I wanted to mention that is absolutely absurd to me is we're going to have a small clipper system that's going to roll through portions of these areas and bring a little bit of snow. Literally, I'm not even kidding. We're going to see a little bit of snow that rolls through on Tuesday across portions of Iowa and extreme northern Missouri. Now, this isn't going to be a lot of accumulations, but a small band could bring up to 3 inches of snow from this thing in a really, really confined, this isn't going to be broad, a really, really tight swath of a decent amount of snowfall from this that we are going to be seeing. The National Weather Service is saying this too, with this small area in southern Iowa seeing 2 to 3 inches of snowfall, and a little bit of northern Missouri even seeing 1 inch of snowfall from the system, which is that is just absurd to me that these areas are going to get potential for snowfall from this. We're going to see a little bit of precipitation breakout Tuesday morning across a bunch of these areas and just basically train over the same areas in a really tight gradient from Illinois into Iowa and northern Missouri areas where we're going to be seeing some snowfall from this. And let's look at the temperatures real quick that we are going to be seeing from this. Okay, so it's going to be quite warm. So it will be a heavy wet snow. But man, oh man, like it's April. This is April 7th, guys, and we're gonna see some snowfall. So it's not gonna impact much areas, but whoever's in this small, tight area is gonna be like, what the heck in April? So just be mindful of that. And so what comes with this above average temperatures and a lot of heavy precipitation? Well, severe weather is what comes with this. And if you look at already getting into this upcoming weekend, after this week, this upcoming weekend, next Sunday, look at this. We've got for April 12th, an extreme amount of moisture coming in. Dry air out west, an extreme amount of moisture coming in. So it's going to be very moist, a broad warm sector across much of these areas. And that's why we're going to be in store for a lot of severe weather. It just shows multiple. This is a crazy run by the GFS, just multiple days of consistent severe weather. I'm not going to say we're going to have severe weather every day, but I am saying that starting this next weekend, we're going to be in for some big time severe weather threats. I do think we're going to have at least 1 or 2 severe weather threats that's going to be pretty big time, and just be mindful of it. We're too far out to really get into details for any specific days that we'll get severe weather, but I do want to say, if you're in any of these regions right here, be mindful. Severe weather is going to be possible. We are in severe weather season. It's spring, so be mindful for next weekend into next week after this upcoming one. And due to all this rainfall that's going to be occurring, this is the Climate Prediction Center, which has a risk level of heavy precipitation, which that's another thing with all this rainfall that we're going to have coming next weekend. It's also going to be associated with potential flash flooding. So I know we're talking about pretty far out. That's because the weather's pretty quiet right now, but it's going to get crazy next weekend. We've got a slight risk in the light green, and then the darker green, this is a moderate risk of heavy precipitation. So any of these areas have a moderate risk, 40 to 60% chance, valid from April 13th to the 19th of pretty heavy precipitation. And the day 8 to 14, April 13th to 19th, has this whole area in heavy precipitation. And this area in Oklahoma and Texas for flooding possible. So if you're in that gray area, flooding could be possible from that period, and heavy precipitation in this green area. So be mindful of that, especially if you got plans during this time frame. The weather is definitely going to get pretty active. Alrighty, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Not too much to talk about right now because we don't have any active weather going on right now. Pretty quiet weather across most of the U.S. currently, but that is definitely going to change next week, and I do think we're going to be seeing an increase in flash flooding and severe weather events and warmer weather too with this. Thanks for watching today's video, and bye guys.